What's going on, everybody? It's David from the 80s, and you are now entering the Cinema Chop Shop. So park your ass right there. And while you're there, don't forget to hit the like, the share, and the subscribe button. Also, if you check the link below, you'll see a Patreon account. You click, you become a member. All you got to do is try to recommend movies and music and trailers for me to react to. Now, with that being said, we're here today with a review. Finally, and I mean finally, I have finally went back to the movie theaters, bro. It was my first movie that I've actually seen in a movie theater. Me and a wife went to the freaking movies, enjoyed ourselves until some annoying people tried to sneak in, but we had to shut that shit down. Shout out to my wife and myself. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. I finally saw the Unholy, the 2021 film. Now I'm gonna be a fucking buck right now. I really thought that this movie was going to be a super disappointment. I kind of didn't want to pay to see it, but I just wanted to get out, take my wife to a movie. I want us to have a little date night like we used to. You know, we haven't really been out because of COVID. And we was like, you know what, man, let's just go ahead and just have this one night to ourselves. So we went out, had a date night and had fun. And we went to go see The Unholy because we love horror movies. Now, this movie has a director by the name of God knows what, Evans, whatever his last name is. But anyway, this movie has Jeffrey Dean Morgan in it. And if any of you guys are fans of The Walking Dead, then you know him as Negan or whatever the fuck his name is. The man with the bat with the freaking ball wire wrapped around it. He's in this bitch and he does a really good job as one of the main actors in this movie. So to give you a quick synopsis of the film follows a young girl who has a disability. I believe that she is deaf. And basically she says that a divine being by the name of Mary basically called to her and basically gave her her ability to hear again. And then all of a sudden, this town has just been rejuvenated with the Holy Spirit and this rejuvenation of like Christianity and religion. And they're like, okay, so they all go praying to this being called Mary, thinking that it's the Virgin Mary. And it turns out that it's not. It's just a freaking basically the demonic version, some witch or something, or somebody that they call the devil's bride, or some evil person named Mary, who basically she basically kind of parades herself as a Virgin Mary to lure people in there in order to gain access to their souls, because people are pledging their souls and their lives to her. So she feeds off of that. Now, that is a very, very interesting concept, right? Low key, I came into this film thinking it was going to be trash, that it was going to be bunk, that was going to be doo doo. But actually, that concept was pretty damn good. I'm not going to lie. I really did enjoy the concept of the film. I liked where they were going. Also, I like the actors in the film. Everybody in this movie does a really good job. Even the young girl that plays the deaf girl, I don't know her name because I don't think she's really been in a lot of movies, but she does a really good job as, you know, the young girl, the young deaf girl. But man, my boy Negan stills the show, bro. He's honestly like one of the highlights of this movie. He does a really good job as that reporter because he's an investigative reporter that basically lost his credit because he did some shady shit. And then this is him just basically trying to get back into the limelight. With the story of this magnitude, you know, you have somebody performing miracles and things like that. So, you know, that's going to catch a lot of attention. And he had the exclusive rights to and access to this young girl who speaks to Mary, you know. So overall, the story was dope. The acting was good. The music was okay. It wasn't nothing like too like it's not like it had its original theme. Like when you used to watch 80s horror movies and everything, like there was a theme or something that caught you and you just like, yo, I gotta get this. That's why a lot of these old 80s horror movies are releasing vinyls of their scores, right? But this movie didn't have that. It had a score that was okay and went along with it. Also, the Mary, the main, the protagonist or antagonist of this movie, the demon, right? She has a very, very cool design idea. I want you guys to idea, and I'm going to tell you why I keep saying idea, right? Basically, her design is that she was burned alive because the town figured out what she was doing in the past. We're talking about in the past, and they basically nailed a face of the Virgin Mary on top of her in order to seal that evil, right? And there's a problem with that, and I'll tell you why later. But so her design is really cool. She comes off as kind of like this saint-like being, but with a dark cloak and then the mask on top of her face, which is pretty dope, you know? So my negatives though about this film is that the CGI in this movie is terrible. It's really bad. It's really, really bad. And it becomes extremely noticeable. Um, I don't like watching a movie and feeling like I'm watching a video game. That's just me. I don't know if any of you guys else, any other people out there bothered by it, but me, especially as a horror fan, and I love 80s movies and practical effects. I hate, I hate CGI. And in this movie, it had maybe one scene that wasn't CGI, and I was mad because it was not CGI and it was sort of practical, but yet I didn't like what they did because the mom Mary took off her mask, and I didn't like the way that the face looked. It looked cool, it looked okay, but I thought with 2021 money, you could get something a lot better, honey. You know what I'm saying? So, um, yeah, I felt like they could have did a lot better with the design, especially when the mask came off. I felt like they could have did a lot better with the CGI in general because the CGI in general looked bad. I also felt like they could have did a little bit better with exploring the violence in this film. I feel like they steered away from the violence a lot, I guess, to stay within that PG-13 margin. Yes, this is a PG-13 movie, and I feel like a lot of horror movies suffer because of it. And this is definitely one of those horror movies that suffers because of that PG-13 rating. If you would have opened up the movie with me watching her get that fucking mask nailed on her face, oh, you would have got you some points. You would have really, really got you some points for that one. You know, also like if you would have showed her face and it was like dripping, or like if her mask would have been stuck to her face when she pulled it off and you would have saw the skin stretch or whatever, that would have been tight. You could have got some points for that, homie, but you fucked up. But anyway, those are my biggest gripes with this movie. Like the practical effects. Oh, also, my wife pointed something out, and I swear, I never thought about it until she pointed out. She said, I am so tired of every movie doing this stupid contortionist thing. And then like the whole bending and like all demons need to bend and be a contortionist and like do like little shit. Everybody's been trying to recreate that motherfucking exorcist scene, the spider walk down the stairs, since it began. And I didn't realize how many of these movies oversaturate the shit out of that contortionist spider walk attempt. There's a lot of movies doing that. Now, shout outs to this movie because they actually had a real contortionist who did the actual movements. So that's pretty cool. But at the end of the day, I gotta agree with my wife, dude. Yeah, the whole contortionist crawling thing is pretty played out, even though it was done well in this movie. I will add that the contortionist aspect is done well in this movie. I repeat, but at the end of the day, it is a overdone move that's in almost every damn horror movie, especially when you're dealing with evil and things from beyond the grave and shit, right? It's overdone. But I'm gonna keep it a buck, bro. And then also I didn't like the ending. I don't like that. I don't like the ending. That's the only thing I'm gonna say because I just don't like. I'm trying not to give this away, man, but I don't like movies that end like this. I guess that's the way I'm gonna put it. I don't like these fake endings. I don't like it. Now, this isn't one of those, it's one of those bait endings. Nah, man, nah. When you watch this movie, if you know what I'm talking about, I did not like the ending. You gotta give me nah, I can't even say it, bro. But that's why I don't like the ending. I didn't like the ending of this movie. It should have ended the way that it was intended to. That's just me, because now all of a sudden, now you're retconning what the fuck you're retconning what you already set forth for the story. Now, unless this was like done in order to like progress the story further past this movie, which I doubt this movie is going to get the numbers that it needs in order to continue, unless it's like some straight to DVD shit. You know, it's not going to happen. Also, the director of this movie, I think he's fairly new to directing his own shit. I think he's worked with other directors and worked on other projects. Nothing that's really like, whoa, it stands out to me. But this is his first project, and I got to give him credit. It was done pretty well. Like I said, I just didn't like the CGI. I'm not a fan of the ending, and also I felt like they could have did a lot more with the practical design of the Mary character. So, if you've seen this movie, let me know if you liked it. Let me know if you hate it. Let me know if you agree or disagree with anything I just said, and whatever the case may be, drop it in the comment section down below. And you're now exiting the Cinema Chop Shop. I hope you guys have a fantastic day and enjoy today's content dump.